Welcome, reality programmers, to part two of how to make the unconscious conscious. So this is the hands-on part. This is where you get to experience it. So if you haven't watched part one yet, do be sure to watch that because that sets up the framework for what we're about to experience today. So, reality programmers, I am Denny Van. I develop and program Roku channels, and I also make websites ADA compliant, and I teach humans how to program their reality because, as you know, programming yourself is really no different than programming a website because you are programmable and marketing knows this. So we're basing all of this off of Carl Jung, and this quote has really had me asking a lot of questions over the years. And that quote is, until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate. So we're talking about in this video, the how to make the unconscious conscious. And we discovered it's through a co-creative process. And this process is the experience and know-how of setting up your self-directed healing team. And we're going to do that right now. Are you ready? So I do want to let you know right up front, I've been asked, how did you discover this? How did you find this? How did you even put this together? So I want to let you know that I do use an analog, a writing index card system that is called a personal knowledge management system, or a PKM, and I use a Zettelkasten. And so I'm putting together these ideas that I've learned along the way with so many resources and books that we all use. I create one idea per card, and next thing you know, I have a string of cards put together, and a whole idea is just emerged from this personal knowledge management tool. So I want to tell you about this because we are going to be putting a mastermind together on how you can create your own personal knowledge management system. So back to the how. And in here, what we're doing is we're going to be setting up your self-directed healing team. And so one of the first things we want to do is connect. So permission to connect and permission for what's in this human's subconscious to share with those who are open to receive. Big fat yes. So this right here is a big fat yes. Nice, smooth, strong yes. And just to review, I programmed this pendulum to read the energy of what we're connected to, and it shows me 4 responses. It shows me a yes, and it's going clockwise in the yes direction, and show me a no. So from my direction, it's going front and back, and then show me a maybe. And so from this direction, it's going in front of me, and then show me polarized. This is a polarized. So it's going in a counterclockwise direction. So this tells me that there's 2 beliefs, opposing beliefs happening within the unconscious at the same time, and they're literally pushing away everything you want. So we need to neutralize that polarization. So one of the first things that we want to do in the 4 steps of this process of making the unconscious conscious. First of all, you are aware that you are co-creating with the 3 parts of you. The first part being your conscious awareness, what you're putting your focus on. This is important because most of us don't realize how thinly spread our focus, awareness, and attention is, and we call it ADHD. So become very selfish with what you're putting your focus, awareness, and attention on. And this part is awareness training, because marketing knows that our focus, awareness, and attention is approximately 6 seconds, and some are saying as low as 3 seconds. So somewhere between 3 and 6 seconds is how much focus, awareness, and attention we have to get our attention to sell us something, right? So marketing knows this. So this is the how we can bring these 3 parts, what's happening in the unconscious. So again, that image that I showed you of the captain of the ship, and then the ship being the unconscious, there are so many levels, there are so many rooms, so many nooks and crannies that the captain is completely unaware of that is happening. But whatever is happening on the journey is affecting what's happening in the unconscious. So things are lighting up and becoming aware. But the subconscious part of you, this intelligence part of you, and it has nothing to do with our human mind. This is beyond our human mind. Nobody can claim this part. This part of you sees both what the captain is focused in on and what's happening below the decks. And what we're doing is we're training this part of you how to reprogram, process, and integrate all of those parts that wake up depending on what the captain is focused in on. So you are the captain of your ship. What are you focused on? So what we do next is we make the subjective objective. So let's say we're focused in on something that really brought up some kind of emotions. Maybe you saw a social media post, a news article, whatever in your 3D realm. You saw something that triggered something inside you. I'm angry, or I'm fearful, or oh my gosh, I have so much uncertainty. So in this process of saying, I am this, I am angry, I am fearful, I am triggered, whatever that word is that comes up, it's subjective because only you know what it feels like. So what we want to do is make this subjective objective. So part 2, step 2, is to make the subjective objective and put it on the pain scale. This is going to open up so many more possibilities and make self-directed healing successful. This step number 2. So first you become aware, oh my gosh, I'm feeling this. I just watched the news and all of this fearful crisis, war, all kinds of stuff going on. Oh my gosh, this is happening in my 3D realm. You become aware of it. My body's reacting. My nervous system is tightening and closing. I might be becoming angry. You know what this feels like. Check in. And then remember, we're going to anchor this. Remember step number 2, put it on the pain scale. Where are you? Oh my gosh, this fear I'm feeling, this uncertainty, where's my next paycheck going to come from? How am I going to pay rent? How am I going to live here? How am I going to find a place to live? How am I going to buy food? How am I going to buy medicine? All of these things are happening. Put it on the pain scale. Oh my gosh, it's a 7. 10 is the worst. 1 or 0, no pain at all. I'm good. I'm good there. 10 is the absolute worst. The moment you put that on the pain scale, it becomes objective. We have a completely different view of it now. And we give it to the subconscious permission to take a look at everything that's waking up within the unconscious. Because remember, we're not consciously aware of what's going on down there. And as soon as it does come up and it interferes with our guiding the ship, which is this meat suit, and it interferes with this, and I'm looking to see what's going on in the past or what's been triggered or the trauma story, that requires you to look back, not forward. So I'm looking back at what's happening. What happens when you're driving and all of a sudden you see an accident going the other way? They call it turkey neck here, or something like that, where you're turning your neck to look at the accident and you're actually turning your vehicle toward what you're looking at. This is what's happening in our 3D world. So we're turning our ship, our meat suit, on our path in time and space, which is constantly moving. We can't stop it. Hold on, let me stop the ship so I can turn around and take a look and see what's happening below the decks. That's not happening. No, because we're turning and we're looking at it, waking up below the decks, and it's affecting our behavior. It's causing 7s, 8s, 9s, 10s. And this shifts our vibration into creating a cycle. So we're in these karmic cycles of what I like to call projectile vomiting on each other. So what I'd like to do is share with you areas where you can start. And so when we're starting this 4-step process and setting up your self-directed healing team, we're going to go through a process of that setting up. But then once it's set up and anchored, you know it. You know exactly what to do the moment you're feeling that shift, and you're feeling it in the nervous system. So pay attention to your nervous system and what it's telling you that it's receiving signals from the environment. So we can work those signals through our body so we're not reacting to them, but instead responding to them. And as we know, when we put something on the pain scale, it brightens up all of those parts in the unconscious. So what I'd like for you to do is, we have the 6 areas of the mastermind focus wheel. And these 6 areas are health, number 1. And this includes self-love, self-care, probably mostly self-love, because more you love yourself, the more you're going to take care of this meat suit. So check in this first area. I like to call this the number 1 area. Everything else falls after this. Where are you in your health on the scale of 1 to 10? 0, no problem. I got a clean bill of health. I'm good to go. I'm healthy. I'm active. Mindset is clear. 0 or 10, oh my God, I don't know what I'm going to do. There's so many things happening. I'm overwhelmed. I'm stressed out. I'm a 10. So check in. Where are you? And then write that down and then send it to me in the comments. So we'll be kind of voting on which area of these 6 areas we are going to set up. We're going to use these areas to set up, and then we're going to practice it so that you are well aware of how to use your self-directed healing team. So the second area could be your business or your career. Where are you on the pain scale of your business/career? Are you making the income you need to be making to live where you want to live? And as we can see in our 3D reality, there's so many changes going on with our careers and our businesses. So where are you on the pain scale of 0, no problem at all, or 10, oh my gosh, I'm living paycheck to paycheck and I don't know what's going to happen, or I don't even have a job or a place to live. I'm a 10. Is there a number beyond 10 that we can work with? So as we're setting this up, we're going to be voting on where are you, and we're going to start there. The third is your finances. Where are you on the scale of 1 to 10 with your finances? Take a moment, really check in. And next is relationships. Obviously, your number one relationship is with yourself. But what about your relationships with others? Are they confrontational? Or do you open yourself up to really listen, not just be offended by words or pronouns, but really listen to what the other person is trying to convey and communicate to you? So, this really affects this skill. Our ability to communicate, I'm finding, is severely lacking. So when you lack in this skill to communicate, it can cause all kinds of problems within your relationships. So be honest, where are you with your relationships on the pain scale of 0 to 10? Next is giving. And I'm seeing a severe decline in volunteering and giving. And this part of us is the humanness that we are. In ancient times, the Bible talks about, let's say, a farmer harvested his field, but he left the outside perimeter boundaries. He left like 10% of his harvest. He left it for anybody who wanted to come and get it. And then today we use money. So we will give 10% of our income, let's say, to some kind of organization that we feel we want to support. So really check in. Where are you on the pain scale with giving? Because without giving, there are so many not receiving. So this cycle of giving and receiving only takes a small amount of your time, your resources, and your money. So where are you? So those are the 6 areas of the focus wheel, your personal mastermind focus wheel. And this is where we start in building this relationship with these 3 parts of our self-directed healing team. So let me see in the comments. Let me see where you are. I'm just going to check in real quick. So yes, finances. Yes, finances is up there. Lots of 7s, 8s. And then tell me specifically about health. Tell me what it is about health. Okay, self-care. Okay. Tell me on a scale of 1 to 10. 1, I love myself. 10, oh my God, I can't find anything to love about myself. So this self-love, tell me on the pain scale of 1 to 10 where you are. That might be an excellent place to start with setting up your self-directed healing team. Okay, let me know in the comments. Okay, yeah, relationship is a big one. So they keep coming in. Okay, so it looks like self-care or self-love. Self-love is going to be the one. So let me just check in with the pendulum. Permission to set up the healing team with self-love. And the average number is a 7 on the pain scale. And I'm getting a big fat yes. Very nice. So we're going to go with self-love. So take a moment to check in, even if self-love wasn't your highest number, check in, where are you on the pain scale for self-love? Because we want to make sure that we're able to measure this. So this makes it, scientific. You can measure your progress. So take a moment right now to check in. Where are you on the pain scale, 10 being the absolute worst? Where are you on the pain scale when it comes to self-love? And feel free to put it in the comments, but the average was 7. It could go up, it could go down. That's okay what your number is. Just check in what your number is, because this is where the internal work begins. So first we become aware, oh my gosh, I'm a 7 on the pain scale when it comes to self-love. So give me some words in the chat. why this is painful for you. So we want to include some neuro-linguistic programming. So as a professional linguist, my specialty is nonverbal communication. I would love to see all of you right now. That's why I can't wait to do more groups. Nonverbal communication really shows 70% of what's going on underneath. But I need your comments. So give me some words on this self-love. Okay, good. Not worthy enough. Not worthy enough. Not deserving. Not good enough. Not pretty enough. Excellent. Keep it coming. All of these words, not good enough. So what I use is your words. Not worthy enough. What else? Not lovable. Excellent. So let us begin the process of assembling your self-directed healing team. And I tend to speak in the first person because there is only one universal mind. Healing team, we have permission to set up whomever individual is watching with their 5 senses to allow the mind, the conscious awareness, to become aware of self-love, where you are with self-love. And we are at a 7. We may be higher, we may be lower collectively, but on average, it's a 7. It may even be a 7.5, or may even be closer to 8, but not being good enough, not good enough. All of these unconscious parts are now waking up below the surface. As we focus in on that 7, it's a 7. It's disrupting our lives. It affects relationships. It affects choices because I don't love this meat suit. I don't love myself. The world shows me all kinds of ways to not love myself. And as more and more of these parts begin to wake up, light up, the subconscious, the intelligence that you are, sees every single one of them lighting up as we continue to focus in on this 7, this lack of self-love, this lack of being lovable. All of these parts are waking up, and the intelligence that you are, the 3rd part of your wellness team, your healing team, sees what you're focused in on. You're focused in on that 7, 8, whatever number that is. You're focused in on that number. It sees that it's causing pain, and it's suddenly become very heavy, so heavy. I can hardly hold my arm up. And this intelligence that you are sees what's happening in the unconscious, the perfect order and perfect sequence of every unconscious memory, all of these memories waking up right now. Permission, all of these parts that are waking up, we need your permission. The subconscious cannot reprogram, release, and integrate anything until each and every one of you are willing to be reprogrammed, integrated. It just got lighter. I'm getting a yes. So I'm getting a yes that all of these parts waking up that you're unconsciously aware of, you don't even know, you might not even feel, you're just focused in on that 7, focused in on not good enough, focused in on not worthy, focused in on not lovable, focused in on not pretty enough, focused in on all of these things that you think about yourself that are not true, only because we're told to believe them many times. All of these parts waking up. Are you willing to integrate all of your knowledge, wisdom, and understanding to the wholeness of your self-directed healing team? While the intelligence that you are, the subconscious, reprograms, releases, lets go of, but keeps all of the assets, all of the knowledge, wisdom, and understanding and shares it with the wholeness that you are on the conscious, unconscious, and subconscious, working co-creatively together. So I'm getting a big fat yes. So let's just make sure, because I got a heaviness in the shoulder. My body telling me there's some kind of heaviness going on here. So are there any parts not willing to share all of their knowledge, wisdom, and understanding while the subconscious reprograms? So I'm getting a yes, not just a maybe, but a yes. So there are some parts not willing. So what's really important here is that all of the parts, all of them, for this to be successful, all of the parts have to be willing to be reprogrammed. And this could feel like, especially if these parts are childlike parts. Yes. So I'm getting a yes. So these childlike parts might feel like, oh no, this feels like I'm being killed or murdered. It feels like I'm dying. It feels like I'm being ignored. So it might feel like this, and that's okay, because the subconscious will only integrate you and reprogram you if you are 100% willing. So those parts that are not willing, are you willing to have a conversation with the entire team so that you can make a conscious choice to willingly share all of your assets, your knowledge, wisdom, and understanding, while the subconscious reprograms, releases what no longer serves, and lets that go, but keeping and sharing. And the healing team shares all of its assets with each and every part. I'm getting a nice yes. Is there anything polarized? No. So I'm not feeling anything polarized here. Excellent. So now we are ready to teach the subconscious how to do the integration work, because now we have all these parts ready to be integrated. They're saying yes. And if they're not ready, they're willing to have a conversation. So they're all ready now. Now we have to teach the subconscious, because remember, the conscious and subconscious learn very differently. It is not one unified mind like many believe. So the subconscious learns through allegory and metaphor. That's why all sacred scripture is written in metaphor. It's not for the conscious mind. It's for the subconscious. So this next step, what I'd like for you to do is getting into a comfortable position. Even grab some water or something to help hydrate yourself. Water is a conductor of energy. So when you're dehydrated, your electrical system is actually stressed. So you want to make sure you are hydrated based on your needs. So listen to your electrical system. So find a spot, get hydrated, take a moment. So now we're going to get relaxed and comfortable, because we're in that area of hertz of alpha, that huge range. And we're going to go into and in out of states of hypnosis and prayer and bliss and imagination. So get comfortable and enjoy the ride. It's going to flow magnificently. Thank you. Thank you, conscious awareness. Thank you for my awareness of what I'm consciously putting my focus, awareness, and attention on. Thank you for showing me that I must be selfish with what I put it on. Thank you. Thank you, unconscious. And as the captain of this ship, I want to work cohesively and together, not separate while affecting my choices and my behaviors in this current life experience, in this three-dimensional external reality. And I know that there are more, even more internal realities. Thank you. I'm not aware of them. And yet, the things I don't process, the things I suppress, the things I don't look at, the traumas I don't process are all put down there. And as I look at my world, and even as I look at taking care of myself, I could feel the heaviness of being able to do that because of all the heaviness in the unconscious. So thank you, unconscious, for saying yes to being reprogrammed and reprocessed, because the subconscious mind can see that we're focused in on this number, this 7 for self-love, this 7 for not being good enough, this 7 for not being worthy, this 7 for not being lovable. And all of these parts waking up, all of these shadows, all of these parts are willing, subconscious, because we are playing on the playing field of life. And in front of us is a football or soccer field, a playing field. And we're in it. We can only see so many steps ahead of us. And as we're looking ahead, we're not seeing the holes in the playing field that we're stepping into and getting hurt and becoming traumatized. So subconscious, you can see the perfect order and perfect sequence of each and every one of those holes that is causing a 7 on the pain scale in our 3D reality. So please, subconscious, like a feather, fill in ever so gently. We can't even be consciously aware of any pain. Fill in each and every hole in this playing field of life in perfect order and perfect sequence, as each and every part that wakes up, as I am focused in on this 7, each and every part that wakes up and is willingly reprogrammed. What no longer serves is released, as if being in the ocean, letting it go. Once it's in the ocean, it can't come back. That's right. However, all of the knowledge, wisdom, understanding, all of these assets are shared and integrated with the healing team. Excellent. And processing has already begun. So the subconscious got the instructions on how to do the integration work. So as you sit in a relaxed state, however that is for you, sitting or standing in a nice erect state, consciously aware of your body, continue to sit and try to focus in on that 7. What happens when processing begins, some people will see or feel or hear a different number. Some people will say, the number's kind of moving. I really can't pinpoint the number. Some people will get distracted, go get something to eat to ground themselves, or get some water, which is absolutely fine. What is happening is processing is happening beneath your conscious awareness. Your healing team has been assembled, and it is now self-directed. So what I'd like to do now is to anchor that. So when you're moving along in your 3-dimensional world and you get triggered, something triggers you and you become aware of it. Oh my gosh, that situation, it's an 8. Oh my gosh, I become aware of it. Make that subjective objective, put it on the pain scale. It's an 8. Now we're going to take us to a point where you focus in on that 8. You allow whatever it is to wake up in the unconscious, and you give permission or ask if there is any part that would like to have a conversation that is not willing. Because again, for this to be successful, going through these 4 steps: number 1, become aware; number 2, make the subjective objective; number 3, give it to your healing team to reprogram and reprocess. The subconscious knows exactly what to do. The mind doesn't have to say, I don't know, did I do it right? Because you might watch this video again just to make the mind happy, and that's okay. But the mind is going to come in and say, I don't know, am I doing this right? My team isn't working very well together. Well, if you're in that place, then you're not focused in on the number. So you focus in on the number, especially if it's more than a 5. Focus in on the number, on how that is creating pain in your life. That is going to wake up stuff in the unconscious. Take a few moments and then give it to your team to process it and integrate it. So this next step, get a comfortable spot. Healing team, thank you so much. This was a 7, but it feels like, yes, it's down to a 3. And it feels like it's still processing and moving. Thank you, thank you, thank you. As I sit and allow this intelligence that I am to continue to do the processing work, I anchor myself in the work. First, I become aware. Second, I make it objective by giving it a number. Third, I focus in on that number and let whatever wakes up in the unconscious. Next, I hand it over to my healing team so that the subconscious can reprogram and integrate all of the assets, all of the knowledge, wisdom, and understanding, while releasing what no longer serves. And it's okay. It's okay. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I am aware. I am aware. That number is changing as I become aware of this temporary meat suit, this clay pot. It's here temporarily, and yet it's co-creating with this intelligence that is infinite. You are both. Bring both together and magic happens. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I allow myself to anchor the work, and I recognize the moment. My lens to this 3D reality is being muddied up by what's waking up in the unconscious, and I allow my self-directed healing team to process, integrate, and release. Thank you. Very nice. Excellent work. So you know what to do now. And your mind might be going, but wait a second, but wait a second. And the subconscious might be not sure what to do. You might be giddy. You might be wanting to cry. You might not be sure. So allow yourself 24 to 48 hours for this subconscious processing to continue. And so we do offer a 40-day journal where each day you answer questions and you can see your progress over the scope of 40 days. And so if you'd like a copy of that journal, definitely go to heartfeltawakening.com/40 days. And I want to hear from you. I hear from people months later going, oh my gosh, that pain that was a 10, it's been gone for months. So I want to hear from you. And, these two parts of making the unconscious conscious, and then setting up and activating your self-directed healing team. These two parts are life-changing. And so from the feedback that we have been getting from people who have been using this, it has been tremendous. So thank you so much for being on this journey with me. And yeah, keep being amazing.